Right, welcome. Hope everyone's okay. Just finished another day at the grind. Yeah, it's been a funny sort of day. A lot of changes involved. This is a bit of a, I think this we can slightly call this one a Jess the Border Collie update and a bit of neurodivergence. Oh, can't even say it. It mixed in with this one, and the two. I'll tell you how the two link. I did a short not so long ago. My dog's not very well at the moment. She's a Border Collie called Jess, by the way, in case you don't know. And she's developed a bit of a lump in her stomach. And we first noticed she was going a bit lame now and again. And that's what at first we thought she'd hurt her leg or something. But it's quite funny because it's mostly the front leg she's lame on, and she's not always lame on it. We're guessing that this lump, that we're not sure what it is yet. She's been on antibiotics. Well, she had 3 lots of antibiotics. So she's, anyways, she's been back to the vets a few times, and we've tried different things, and it's not clearing up. If anything, to be honest, I think personally myself, it's getting worse. So the last trip was, the thought was we might have to do a biopsy to find out what this growth is. And we're at that. I'm concentrating on my driving a bit, so bear with me. There's one thing, by the way, I can do. Is when I'm driving, I'll concentrate more on my driving than my chatting. So if that happens, that's just because I'm concentrating on my driving, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. It just means my attention, my awareness is more on my driving than it is talking to you. We've got this dilemma now that, do we just have a biopsy done, which still means sedation, or do we have an operation done and see if they can remove some of this, this growth? The vet does think there is another growth on the other side of the stomach as well, so that bit's not looking so good. We just don't know what this growth is. She's 10-year-old, and we're in a dilemma because, it's not going to be cheap, but that's not the main focus. Don't get me wrong, we don't want to waste money, but at the same time, we have got the dog at our, the dog's welfare first. A lot of people would just say, I'd put it, well, packed people have said this, so I wouldn't pay that. But, she's bright enough in her eyes, and we have to remember she's been part of the family now for 10 years. And I think, we owe it to her to try and help her the best we can. Obviously, this is the dilemma, because if we just have the biopsy done to see what we're actually dealing with, then she has to go through a sedation and I guess a slight little cut in the stomach to get a biopsy off. Or we put her through the operation, or we don't put her through anything. At the moment, she's booked in to go in for the operation, and operations carry risk. We know that, we understand that. So we're a bit unsure what to do really for the best, because we don't want to put her through it. And if we find out that this thing's cancerous and it's spread, then we're putting her through an operation for no reason really, aren't we? Because she isn't going to get better. So that's that dilemma, and this is where it leads into the neurodivergent side. Is I noticed this morning, and I probably noticed yesterday morning, but I'm more aware of it this morning, that and other things going on, like today at work, and it changes. that it's starting to just affect me a bit. In other words, what's happening is the brain's just having a bit of an overload. And anyone who's neurodivergent, or anyone who may think the same way, or anyone who's, thinks that they're having this overload, you need to decompress. You need to process that information, and at the moment, because we've got options that we can't find answers to, because my brain thinks in a logical, analytical way, it's trying to find an answer, and it will do that until it finds an answer. And it's difficult because you try and switch it off. I'm aware of it, and it's not. A lot of people say, "Oh, well, just don't think about it." Well, yeah, you can not think of it, but subconsciously you're thinking of it. I mean, I slept last night. I was out, and people think, well, you slept, but your brain's still thinking. Your brain's still processing it, even though you're sleeping. So I've got to be careful of that I don't, go too much into a spiral in it. And this is where I've learned a lot about myself, and this is what this channel's about, really, is how I've learned about myself and how it's actually helped me, I'm just concentrating again. It's helped me to cope with it a bit better, which is not a bad thing, because we have to find a way. I say this to any neurodivergent person. We're all different. So I'm not trying to say, I work a full-time job. I struggle sometimes, but I do it. Other people can't do it. That's fine. Totally understand that. What I'm getting at is, whatever that side is, you need to find a way to get through things. You need to find a way of managing it. And the quicker you do that, the happier you will be, believe me. It does work. Like now, I'm explaining to you. And the good thing about these videos, and this is what a lot of these videos are about, it gives me a chance to get some of this off my chest. It gives me a chance to clear that brain a bit, to process it a bit. It's good, believe me. Try it. I think I've said this in one of my other videos, in fact, that if you get a chance, just do a vlog of yourself. You don't have to show it to anyone. You don't have to criticize yourself for it. Sometimes it just gives you that bit of, that bit of space to have a chat. And I like that. It clears it off my head. I've got another bit of news coming up shortly. I'm going to do another video on it, though. I'm not going to put it in this one. And it's a bit of a milestone for myself, to be honest, something I thought I would never do. So stick with me with that one. Come back. We'll have a chat about that one. Don't know when we will, but we will shortly. So yeah, so that's my thoughts on that. I've got that dog going through my mind. Work. I'm off tomorrow, so that allows me to decompress a little bit. Even though I've got things to do, which is fine, but it allows me to be at home. I've got those things to do at home, but because I'm at home, I'm not around people, and any neurodivergent people know that people tire you. It's nothing personal against anyone, it just does. So yeah, so I think that's about that on that subject, really. Hoping my dog's going to be all right. I'd like to think that whatever decision we make, that she might be around for a few more years. We all, we know in the back of our minds that day will come. Don't get me wrong. I do, but I do deal on facts. And facts are, she goes on the operating table, and there's a very chance she doesn't come back. That's. I think that a lot of people would say, "Oh yeah, but that's the chances of that." Well, yeah, but if you don't have it in your mind, I'm not saying you put it in as a negative. I'm not saying you whiz it round in your mind and you dwell on it. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is you've got to be mindful of it, because if it happens, then it's not much of that, it's not as much of a shock. It'll still be very upsetting, don't get me wrong. I'm not looking forward to the day that has to happen with her, because she's a good dog, she's been a good friend, part of the family. I'm with my partner Jane, and we've been together for 20 odd years. We've never had kids. No any particular reason, just something we've never done. So the dog, is very much part of the family. Right, I'm going to leave it there. Chill out a bit. One thing I've learned to do as well, and I think this is where this comes in, just quickly on this, Barry, is that you need to give yourself a window between work and home. And I'm fortunate enough in my job, a lot of the time I can do that, where I can leave work and on my way home I can switch off from work and go into homework. Homework doesn't sound right, does it? Go into the home mode, should I say, and that's another little tactic. Okay, right, I hope you're all okay, keep well, and we'll speak soon. Hopefully I'll have a positive update with Jess shortly. Okay, keep soon, bye bye.